Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Matrix 4's terrible. I wanted to like The Matrix 4. I mean, really wanted to like The Matrix 4. As it got closer to its release date, I stopped watching the trailers. The things I'd heard about the new Matrix having the story of the original in it, as a meta way to stop people questioning the reality, sounded interesting, and I rewatched the trilogy in preparation. I was ready to like The Matrix 4, and as I watched it and each criticism I had formed in my mind and began to snowball, I stayed hopeful that it would turn everything around, and then at least some things around. So it brings me no joy to say I don't think this is a good film, and maybe the worst one. Full disclosure, I've only seen Resurrections once. I was going to watch it again for this video, but then I thought of bullet time and decided I'm not doing that to myself. That being said, if someone turns around in a few years saying how this one is actually an incredible take on filmmaking in the internet age or some lesser known Eastern philosophy, great. I'd love nothing more than to love this movie. So let's be positive and talk about some of the things I liked first. Keanu gives a good performance, and this may be his best one in the series. Neo feels disorientated in his new world, and this uncertainty along with his dedication to Trinity make him feel more fleshed out and relatable than the stoic Sci-fi messiah he sometimes was in the originals. New character Bugs is likeable and well acted by Jessica Henwick. She has a cool introduction with the parkour scene and serves as Neo's new guide in his new world. Although after that I couldn't really tell you what she is about. She's introduced and it feels like she's going to be an important player, and I wanted to learn more about her, but unfortunately she becomes less important as the film goes on. A similar thing happens to Yahya Abdul-Mateen II's Morpheus, who clearly has fun doing a remix on the original, which I enjoyed, and his nanocloud body outside of the Matrix is a cool visual, but again, his character falls into the background. As the film progresses, and in hindsight, it now feels like they had new Morpheus, primarily to create intrigue for the film before release, as he does little after his introduction. Another performance I really enjoyed was Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity, Tiffany. I think the chemistry between her and Reeves is the best it's ever been. In the previous films, it often felt like the plot demanded that they be together, and with them both being stoic and reserved, to the point of their relationship feeling kind of detached for me, whereas in this one I felt the yearning and longing that they had for each other. It genuinely felt like they missed one another and were glad to be reunited. The relationship between Neo and Trinity is the highlight of the movie for me. It's a shame they spent so much time of it apart. Which brings us to the less good. I'm not sure why they decided or wanted to do the meta stuff, which, if I'm being kind, is inconsistent at best. A potentially good idea, but the execution is lacking. It mentions all the discourse around the Matrix and what it means, but doesn't do anything with that. Similarly, there's a lot of leaning on the first film, and they actually show parts of the first one, which looks really mind-bending, yeah, but why? The flashbacks, callbacks, references don't add anything. The film jokes earlier on about reboots and Warner Brothers wanting a new installment, but that doesn't absolve the film of being a bad reboot.
I still know Kung Fu.
Exemplifies this perfectly. It's doing the thing again, but doing so isn't adding anything to what came before. It's just there. Speaking of being there, a performance I didn't enjoy was Neil Patrick Harris's The Analyst. I think he's doing his best with what he was given, but his quippy and glib approach was just annoying, and his character has one of the worst moments in the film.
Bullet time.
Oh.
A scene that is a triple threat of the film failing at being satirical about the original, with a much less inventive version of bullet time, and an exposition monologue that we know most of anyway. As with the new bullet time, the fight scenes are lacking the same innovation as the originals. Neo using his telekinesis is cool at first, and if he can use that, why wouldn't he? But then it's pretty much just that. The Merovingian returns, and I went, hey, he's back too! And then they have what feels like a runtime pad mandated fight, since the Mero is in no way tied to the main plot, and there's no stakes. It just happens. Moreover, as the film progresses and the plot unfolds, the intrigue and confusion around what's happening dies down to become what a Matrix movie has never been. Dull. I wondered, what does this all mean? Where's this going? How's it going to build off of what we've seen before? And it's just like last time. It's the same scenario, man versus machine, and people are stuck in the Matrix. I've seen a lot of discussion about how deliberate the meta-sequel reboot stuff is, and it definitely attempts to satirise and parody current IP-driven filmmaking trends and tropes, but falls into more of them than it riffs on. And the ones it riffs on, it doesn't do anything interesting with other than pointing them out. It's satire t-shirt meme, the movie. Lana Wachowski has said she wanted to come back and do another following a hard time in her life after her parents and a friend sadly passed away, and so she felt comforted by reviving Neo and Trinity. Which I think shows as personally the Neo-Trinity relationship was the best part of the film, but then why is that sincerity saddled with a load of half-assed cynicism about meta-storytelling? Was she that annoyed by Warner Brothers constantly wanting to make another that she had to get the digs in? In summary, I thought the performances were a highlight with Neo, Trinity, Bugs and new Morpheus enlivening a muddled story. But overall the film is confused in its message and unambitious in its delivery, and so, unfortunately, The Matrix Resurrections was a disappointment.